What's going on, everybody? Kevin here from SportsBoxBreaks.com, coming to you live on 12/17/2015. We're doing our 2015 Bowman Draft Picks and Prospects Baseball Wax Case Break number 2. Just so we clarify, this is the second wax case we're doing, number 2. It's not the jumbo, and this is the last case of Bowman Draft that we're going to have this year. Who's got who? Let's start the roll call. Arizona Diamondbacks, Jess B. Atlanta Braves, Chito, I'm sorry, I'm crushing your name, my friend. Achiro T. Baltimore Orioles, Donnie P. Boston Red Sox, Robert E. C. Chicago Cubs, Kevin K. Chicago White Sox, Donnie P. Cincinnati Reds, Dustin L. Cleveland Indians, David G. Colorado Rockies, Michael B. Detroit Tigers, Christopher R. Houston Astros, Robert E. C. Kansas City Royals, Jeff W. Los Angeles Angels, Dustin L. Los Angeles Dodgers, Dustin L. Miami Marlins, Donnie P. Milwaukee Brewers, Hikazu N. Minnesota Twins, David G. New York Mets, Dustin L. New York Yankees, Matt L. Oakland A's, Donnie P. Philadelphia Phillies, Donnie P. Pittsburgh Pirates, David R. San Diego Padres, Jimmy S. San Francisco Giants, Dustin L. Seattle Mariners, Dustin L. St. Louis Cardinals, Dustin L. Tampa Bay Rays, Chris G. Texas Rangers, Larry D. Toronto Blue Jays, Jeff W. And Washington Nationals is Donnie P. Here we go, guys. Good luck to everyone. Let's see some booms. So, for that last spot, the Blue Jays, one of our guys had sent an email saying, there's no autos or whatever. I mean, there's potentials, I would assume, for like the orange numbered out of 50s and things like that, which clearly have value. We pulled 2 of the oranges. I don't know if there's 2 per case or if we just actually got something good in our first case of wax. Empty box. And 12 boxes upside down. Let's see how badly I can struggle with the camera's autofocus tonight. All right, here we go. Coming up. Let's go on the right stack. Yep, I do appreciate it. And I'm not trying to give Mike B any flack on that response. I mean, we always like all responses from everybody. We want to know feedback, good, bad, indifferent. But, we price these cases. You guys know how the game is. A lot of times the checklist on this stuff isn't even out. I'm sure that's intentional by these card manufacturers because they want to keep perceived value on this stuff as long as possible before checklists come out. Crack all the packs first and cycle through. Yeah, I certainly could try that. Let me try it with a couple packs because I'm such a novice at this stuff. Again, Jay is our card guy. That I kind of have a rhythm down on how these packs are laid out now from having done the previous. Let me just kind of... So really the only focus you're going on is the stuff in the center. The rest of it is all just paper. Goes way faster. Let me see what you're saying. By box. A lot of other breakers are doing it that way. I mean, I will gladly do it whichever way is going to be fastest. So you're saying open all the packs, put them in a big stack, and then blaze through? Stack them all on the screen, then cycle? Let's try it. Anybody opposed to that? I know there's kind of, some guys are real specific about the way they want cards handled. If there's a whole stack of cards going on, are you going to feel like your cards are getting mangled up at all? So just like such, Like keep going, get the stack going, and then blaze through them. Oh, hey, I'm all down for the suggestions of what's going to make it faster. This stuff is a marathon, that's for sure. So, velvet hands. Well, I work on computers, so my hands aren't exactly the most calloused out there. Although I bite my nails like crazy, so don't judge. Don't judge. I'm not like Jay. Jay goes out and gets manicures because he's worried about what his hands are going to look like on camera. And yes, please bust him about that. I see Ash Russell base card right out of the gate there. I'm going to try it with a half stack first just to see if I can get a feel for... Exactly. I'm going to try it like that first, a smaller stack, just to see how it is. I see some color peeking out at us. Alright, so we will... Got my paper pile over on the side, and then... So just to familiarize myself again with these cards, it's really only the stuff that has significant color that's going to have any numbering on it or any autos on it or whatever. So some of these, even though they are colored, die cut hiding in the stack, boom for me. Yeah, you're cheating. Don't be cheating. We want the dramatic effect, right? All right, we got some paper color right here. Some paper color, 2 out of 99, Alex Young for the Diamondbacks. So some paper color. Yeah, this method is significantly better. Wow. Thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate it. Way, way better. All right, so is this the one you were referring to? Teams of tomorrow for the Yanks. I know we had a bunch of these in the previous one. I'm literally thought it was KC. Hey, there's probably some more to be had, I'm sure, right? And we will keep blazing through. Guys, I'm only going to focus on stuff that has any significance. If you want me to stop and focus on anything else, please let me know, and I will. All right, what do we got? Color but no number. Texas Rangers, Ortiz. All right, moving along. Let's see something come through. Haven't seen a Julio Sig yet. Yeah, maybe we'll see one in this case, right? Got some numbered on paper, 499, 457 out of 499. Mikey White, Oakland A's. So we're going to kind of like have a cycle of paper and then here we go, our first auto. Our first auto for Pittsburgh, and we've seen him a few times across this. To Brian Hayes, and it's a purple. Boom, right? For Pittsburgh. And let me see, who's our Pittsburgh guy in this one? Pittsburgh is David R. David R. And the purples are numbered out of 250, and we got a 249 out of 250 here. Brian Hayes, Pittsburgh Pirates. Yep, he's all over this product. He is all over this product. Very nice. Very nice. Let me see what I got here. 99 out of 499. Yep, I like that method. We'll be doing the whole box on the next one. And I'll do the rest of the packs in a stack on this one. We might be able to get through this in maybe, I don't know, a little over an hour instead of the first one took me 2 hours. Now again, mind you, I am very much a novice at this stuff. So it's going to take me longer just naturally, but wow, man. That's why last night, Dustin, I knew we were 2 spots away, but it was already after 1 a.m. In my mind, I was kind of hoping we didn't get them filled just because it was so darn late. I'd be at it until 3:30 in the morning. Yep, sure can. Crockett, what's your first name, last initial again? It's always tough for me to recognize the breaker name against the actual name. David G. All right, hang tight one. And I think your email is Crockett something, right? Let's see. David G. Crockett 118, correct? David, you have Cleveland Indians, Minnesota Twins. Those are your 2 teams in this one. Cleveland and Minnesota. Fall asleep and watched it later? Yeah, you just wanted to put me through the agony on that late night. I would have done it. I certainly wouldn't have complained. I mean, I want to see this stuff. The problem with this is, you know, I'm doing the breaks as a one-man show, but I'm also doing our sorting, packing, shipping as a one-man show. So guys, keep that in mind. Normally we're really good with getting this stuff out between 3 to 5 business days. This time around is going to be a little longer than normal. I apologize for that, but blame Jay when he gets back. That SOB having a good time on his honeymoon. Actually, I think Jay's brother is going to come and lend a hand with the sorting and packing tomorrow. So get a little jump start on it, because I have been just bogged down. The thing with doing these breaks, it's the constant promotional effort too. So like, it's not just sitting here cracking the cases. You know, we have to send out these emails and do the social media and do all that stuff to try to get as many eyeballs as possible and keep the momentum flowing on these things. So then it's like, where's the time to do the actual break? Or where's the time to do the actual sorting? So I know most of the bigger players in this stuff do not do their own sorting. We are just not big enough to hire people out to do the sorting for us. Hope to get there. Hope to get there. And guys, if I'm missing anything, like if you see me blazing through and I might have missed a numbered card, please do shout at me and I'll go ahead and dig it out and re-show it on camera. I don't want to, like, I see something in there already. Well, I'm just going to pick the whole pile up. Just going to pick the whole pile up if I can get the darn thing. And what do we got? We got some numbering. .134 out of 150. Oakland A's, Kevin Duchene. Again, guys, I'm gonna butcher name pronunciations just because I kind of suck. But Kevin Duchene, 150. Yep, 134 out of 150. And guys, anybody that's new with us that might be chilling, you know, you see a numbered card to 150, even though that's not a bad card at all, we consider a hit anything numbered 50 or below. So let's say you had that team and you didn't get anything, you know, you didn't get an auto, nor did you get anything numbered 50 or below. we're always going to send you hobby packs as a consolation for not getting a hit per se. I like the look of these scouts, and Chris G was telling me, Chris G is like the expert on this stuff. He really knows his stuff. I don't see him in the chat here tonight, but Chris G was all over the first bunch of cases of this stuff in with us. But he said some of these are numbered. We have not pulled a numbered one yet. Maybe tonight will be the night. Let's see what we're blazing through. And just like I did on the previous ones, of course I will do a hit recap on this after we wrap it up. I don't think I've missed anything. And again, if I have missed anything, if you saw me blaze through anything, just give me a kick. Give me a virtual kick. And I will pull it out of the stack here and re-show it. So one auto so far. So what are we? 2 boxes down? This is our second box. 1 box down. That did go pretty fast. Pretty fast in comparison to my other stuff. 2 autos? Do we have 2 autos? I have this guy off to the side. Brian Hayes. And then we had the 150, but I don't think it was... I think it was just the 1 auto, but we had a couple numbering cards, a couple cards numbered in there. 1 per wax. Try to keep the suspense alive. I see the stuff peeking out at us already. Yeah, guys, if anybody's chilling that was involved, I know Dustin and anybody else that was involved in the Dynasty cases last night. That was really unexpected that we were able to get 2 Dynasty cases filled up that had 0 sales going into the night. We had 0 sales in them going into the night. Now, there's only 5 spots per case, but those spots are $250 a piece, so they're a really tough sell for us. Box topper, very cool. Yeah, $250 break is a tough sell for us usually. Our crowd likes to go, you know, on the low to mid-level side. Once in a while, we'll get some hitters come in and buy the big spots, but for the most part, we get. I'll tell you, though, if you saw those hits, I'm sure you did. I mean, it paid off for most guys. It paid off big time for most guys that were in it. Those kind of things are, I mean, the nice part about Hit Draft, and the nice part about that, right, we were selling the spots for $250. So that product is 5 boxes, 1 card per box. So by buying into our break, you were basically buying a box, with the variation in the fact that you were going to be involved in a draft and you were going to potentially get to choose your draft selection based on where you fall, right? So that goes, and we're selling our spots for $250. David Adams is selling an unopened sealed box of that stuff for $275. So we're literally $25 cheaper. $25 cheaper on the box price than David Adams actually is for a sealed box. So go figure. Got some color but no numbering for the socks. And we definitely got something going on here. Another out of 150 card. This one's paper. Carson Sands for the Cubs. 65 out of 150. Pretty cool card. Those paper cards really have like an old school card look to them. Almost look like a card from the 80s or something. 65 out of 150. Yeah, that blue is cool looking. It's real cool looking. I'm going to try. There's the die cuts again. We got some Marlins, if I can get a focus. Not a hit, but these are cool looking cards. I usually like to show them if I can. Avery Romero, Josh Naylor. Doesn't want to focus on me. Sometimes the reflecting surface is just, it wreaks havoc on the camera. Teams of tomorrow. Here's Avery Romero again. Yeah, I like the look of those die cuts. I don't know that we had any. Do the die cuts come with any autos or anything on them? You know, I'm just gonna. What the paper stack die cut shows. And here we go. We got no numbering, but that's a cool looking Cardinals. Yeah, we definitely picked up a bunch of time in comparison to doing it the pack by pack way. All right, moving along. We're literally halfway through this box after this little stack. So pretty cool. Guys, let's get some movement in the Crown Royal football. It's a brand new product, and here is our auto. Our auto, Alex Young for the Diamondbacks. Alex Young for the Diamondbacks. Arizona Diamondbacks is Jess B. There you go. Boom being said in the chat. Boom. And again, guys, I apologize. I might be, there's going to be times that I could be holding a card worth big bucks, and just because I'm not really the guy, Jay's our guy, he'd be the one having the excitement and giving you the boisterous booms. So you guys throw boom out there. This is now the second box. This is the second box in. You guys throw the booms out there in the chat so I'll know that I'm holding something of decent value, and then I can get excited. So Diamondbacks going to Jess B. Congratulations, Jess B. All right, chugging along. And guys, if you're only interested in baseball, if you go to the site, and I think in the search box, if you type 1214, which is 1214, you'll get the stuff that we had lined up for a couple days ago, which is like the gold standard basketball. There's a finest baseball in there. There's a Bowman Chrome Jumbo in there. So if you're only interested in baseball, you don't want to really fool around with the Crown Royal football, we do have 2 cases of baseball that are filling, and spots have already been chipped away on. The finest baseball being one of them, the Bowman Chrome baseball being the second one. And those spots are really decently priced too. Those are our retro cases. I think you can also use the search feature on the website and search for the word retro, and you'll get those cases coming up in the search results too. Picked up the KC. Awesome, awesome. And we do appreciate when you guys come back and pick up spots across different breaks. I mean, having guys come in from eBay and things like that one time and breaking with us one time, that's all good and well. We're kind of exposing them to what we have to offer, but coming back and sticking with us break after break is really where we need to be if we want to keep doing this for the long haul. So we do appreciate the loyalty if you guys are coming back a couple times over and over, week after week. Let's start it up. Let's see what we got. Yeah, the loyalty is a big thing. That's why we have the loyalty program, so that we can reward you guys if you are coming back. Yep, that's how you found us. Yeah, we use eBay really as kind of like new customer acquisition. Because, hey, we all know how eBay is. You're paying out the wazoo just to do business on eBay. You're paying about 13.5% when you factor in the eBay fees plus the PayPal fee. So they whack you an insertion fee, they whack you the final value fee, which is 10%, and then they also, you know, PayPal hits you to take in the payment. So you're looking at like 13.5% just to do business on there. So like, it blows my mind when we get these requests from guys, hey, I'll give you $100 for 4 spots. And when you do the math on those 4 spots, it's like $180 worth of spots. It's like, I don't know if guys think we're just making bank on this stuff, but I mean, the vast majority of the money being pulled in on breaks goes back toward the cost of what we put out of pocket to get this stuff. You know, if we were able to just dangle these crazy offers out there, yeah, we'll take $100 for $200 worth of stuff, then we'd be breaking 15 things a night. So one of those inserts. I think we got something there where it kind of split the stack. I was trying to not split it where maybe a hit was, so as not to reveal the hit too early. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it sounds like we're crying the blues about guys that come in on eBay. We appreciate the guys that come in on eBay, and yourself included there, okay? Because a lot of guys find out about us through our eBay auctions. But then really the whole idea for us is to get you off of eBay and get you over to our website. Because, I'm dropping cards. You know, on the website, we have a little bit more flexibility in terms of pricing. We can help you guys out. We can keep you coming back more often. And that's what we're really trying to do. And okay, if you haven't checked out, if you're on, you know, if you go to our website, at the very top on the top navigation bar, you'll see a link for the loyalty program. That's what I was talking about. If you haven't seen it yet, what it is, it's a frequent buying program where based on how much you buy for the month, the next month you will get a discount that'll be applicable to any purchase you make on the website for Pick Your Team Style breaks. So if you spend $1,000, which it sounds like, wow, $1,000, but really you can spend $1,000 pretty easily on breaks because that's only a few breaks really when stuff is priced where it needs to be priced. You'll get a persistent 10% discount across the board on anything Pick Your Team Style. If you spend a little more than that, you'll actually get, did I blaze through something there? Okay. Here's the last stack of things. If I blaze through, I mean, there's Ash right there, but that's just a regular. I didn't see any coloring that I thought I didn't see any coloring. Keep in mind you get everything from us too, so even if I did blaze through something and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle, you're going to get it because we're going to sort through each one of these cards individually, and you will absolutely get everything. We send everything to you guys. Got to meet him after draft day. Very cool. Yeah, so if I did miss it there, I apologize, but you will get it. You absolutely will get it. Moving along, guys. The only thing that if I missed like a hit, obviously I'd have to dig that back out because we encase all the hits in top loaders. So we don't want to send out a hit that's not encased. One of my buddies that I worked with for a few years, he's a big baseball guy. They used to go down to spring training and stuff every year. Now he and his wife moved to Florida. Not necessarily for that, but they just moved there for the lifestyle. They wanted to live down there. So now he's like in the dream area that he would want to be in. Is that where you're located? You're in Arkansas? Do we have... Oh, geez. I'm revealing stuff already. You know what? I'm going to just show it already because I don't want to tease. There's our 1 per case initiation card Dylan Tate for Texas. 1 per case initiation card. At least that's what I was told, that they're 1 per case. Dylan Tate, Texas Rangers. Boom. And Texas Rangers is Larry D. Larry D, if you're watching. Congrats there, my friend. Very nice card. I like the looks of these cards, too. These are thick cards. And only 2 cards in that whole pack. That's what threw me off. Miami. Josh Naylor. That's why it threw me right off. I was like looking to sift through. Yep, 1 per case. Yeah, that's what Chris G was saying. Chris G is really an expert on this stuff. He was coming at me with all the stats the other night. From Tulsa. We're just outside of Scranton, PA, and for years and years we had the Red Barons, which was the Phillies farm team. Then there was a shift where we now have the Yankees farm team here. So just a few years ago, when Jeter, I don't know if was he injured? I don't know. He was like rehabbing. He was here for like 2 weeks or something like that, and he would just be, showing up in these bars in downtown Scranton and stuff like that. Like you're hanging out in downtown Scranton, it's like, oh, there's Derek Jeter again, hanging out. This is maybe 2012, I think it might have been. Catch Judge at the New York Farm Team. He did well in Fall League. Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, you know what's funny is like we have that Farm League right in our backyard. It's a really nice stadium. They just put a lot of money back into it, and I rarely take advantage of actually going to it. I need to do a little more of that this coming season. It's like anything. You don't take advantage of the stuff that's right in your own backyard all the time. There's a nice die cut for Boston. See that? My voice is going already. Trey Ball. Andrew Benintendi. So there's nothing on these die cuts, right? They're just kind of a, $12 a set plus access to the online Facebook for the game. You can't beat the minor league. Yeah, I mean the pricing is really good, and you get, your experience of what you're getting out of that it's a pretty good experience overall. It really is. I mean they're equivalent these days. I mean back in the day, it was a low production value kind of thing. These days, the production value on a farm league game. Oh, yes, sir. You are right. I'm blazing through. Like I said, just give me a nudge if I'm blazing through anything. Draft night. Ash Russell. So this kid is like the stud, huh? This kid is the stud. And again, I feel like I'm maybe blazing through too fast on you guys now. And we do have some coloring, but no numbering for the Dodgers. Yeah, like I was saying, the production value on the Farm League games is really kind of on par these days with, I wouldn't say quite up there exactly with a pro level game, but got some numbering on paper to 499, 208 out of 499. Thomas Eshelman for the Astros. Just making sure I'm not missing anything you guys want to see. So Nix is all over this product too. Here he is again. And right behind him is an auto. Right behind Ash Russell is our auto for Detroit. Christian Stewart. It'll be a nice package for minor league. Oh, on Ash, yeah. For Detroit, Christian Stewart, our auto, nice looking card. And some of these autos, I guess the framed ones, the colored ones, are numbered. In Detroit, and this one is Christopher R. Christopher R is holding the Detroit spot. Boom. Okay is saying boom. So boom right there, my friend. Congrats. Very nice. I'll bring that baby back up during the hit recap. I don't think, well, maybe, and there he is again. Oh, I looked at the hair and I thought it was Ash again. That's not Ash Russell. He's got that curly, slight mullet, I guess, going on. Listen, he's no Kenny Powers. Did you guys watch Eastbound and Down when it was on HBO? That was some funny stuff, man. So ridiculous. All right, next half of this box. Yeah, Eastbound and Down. I would say one of the funniest HBO shows that has been. Kenny effin' Powers. End of Days. Stat Schwarzenegger? Who was in End of Days? It's like an apocalyptic something movie, right? Take a sip of my coffee here. My voice is crushed. Oh, This Is the End? Yeah, This Is the End was fantastic. I love This Is the End. This Is the End is the, what's his face? Oh, why can't I think of the dude's names? The funny dude. I'm right there with some color. I want to not show it. Oh, Danny McBride was in that. Yes, Danny McBride was in that. I forgot he was in that. No, but the main guys that were in that were, he had an auto of one of these stats cards on the last one of these. Yeah, Seth Rogen, that's it. It just had a like, here he is again, Mr. Ash. I had a brain fart going on there for a minute. Another Scouts card. Seth Rogen, that whole crew. Michael Cena, right? He was in it. I see Green creeping out from behind back there. Green creeping out from behind for the Mets. Green is out of 99, 47 out of 99. David Thompson for the Mets. Who's the Mets in this one? That's you, Dustin. Green. Yep, James Franco. I was having a complete brain meltdown. I could not think of James Franco's name. Could not think of James Franco's name. And they had, was that James Franco's real house in that? They had the Freaks and Geeks painting and all that stuff. You know what? I feel like I am high. I feel like I am. I feel a little overwhelmed this week from all the stuff that I'm doing with our breaks. I'm looking at all this stuff that I have to get sorted and packed and shipped in the next couple days, and that's what's overwhelming me. My weekend is going to be just clobbered with sorting and packing. All right. Box number 3, almost done. Almost done. And how did I even remember that End of Days was, Arnold? Because that was a pretty shitty movie, if I recall correctly. I don't think End of Days was one of his more shining moments. Just getting organized off to the side here while we get into the next one. All right, next box. What are we at? 1, 2, 3, fourth box down. I like how I have to do that math. End of Days. What was Schwarzenegger's movie years ago? Early 90s, where he was like a spy with Jamie Lee Curtis. I think Tom Arnold. True Lies. It's like a Harrier jump jet or something in it, where he's like hanging off of it, which was ridiculous. You can't really bash the guy too much. I mean, clearly he wasn't in those movies for his acting ability. He was in those movies for his overall, persona. But, I mean, if you didn't love Predator, you didn't love The Terminator. What's up there, 3SC? How's it going? Oh, we got something in here, guys, because it's giving me trouble just getting the pack open, so something... We got something in here. It's causing these cards. Look at that. Just how it was right out of the pack. Here, I'm going to actually show these right now since I'm holding them here, because just in case there's something wrong with that one card, I want you guys to see it. So, no numbering on that. Okay, it's nothing. I thought it was something. It's just, there was like a little bend or a little something on that card which was preventing the pack from even wanting to open. It's just a regular paper base card regardless, but I just like to show all that stuff just in case. Like last night, I think we had a couple, like one little blemish on one of the cards. I like to show all that stuff. I don't want any blemishes to go out there and you guys get them and think that we somehow caused it during the packing process or something. Kevin Pollak. Kevin Pollak's a funny guy, let me tell you. I was watching, I mean, he used to do that Celebrity Poker Showdown. Here we go, right back to poker I go again. But he was in another more recent, I mean, within the last few months, like Celebrity Poker game. And he was, he kept doing this imitation of Al Pacino from Scent of a Woman. And it was just funny as all hell. He kept doing like, remember the time I did the voice of a 60-year-old black jazz musician and won the Grammy or won the Academy Award? Like he was being hilarious. Kevin Pollak. So we're like 2 paper, 1 glossy, 2 paper, Degenerate bastard, Kevin Pollak. You know who's the real degenerate? Is Norm Macdonald. There's like legendary stories out there on the internet about Norm Macdonald and how bad of a gambler he was at one point in his life. I don't know if he still is, but they said he would like do a show in Vegas or Atlantic City or something like that. You know, the take on the show for the night might have been $60,000 or $70,000 for him, and he would just go and pop it off in the casino like in minutes. What's that? No, you went right back to poker again? Yep, right back to poker, if that's what you're talking about. What is this? Anything? Nothing? Just a cool picture of the kid. Me being a yeah, well, that's probably true. I more so blame Jay. He's the degenerate bastard. He likes to get his gamble on. I mean, I like to get my gamble on. Who doesn't? Here he is again, another draft night. Another draft night. Oh, I do. I was playing crisscross poker at the Sands Casino a couple weeks ago. You know, I do like poker. I like poker a lot. I just never really give myself the opportunity to go and settle into a poker table and play, because it's just such a time commitment. I mean, to really play cash game poker, you have to be dedicated to it for many, many hours. To play a tournament, you have to be dedicated to it for many, many hours. And I never go out and do it anymore. Hours and hours. Yep, you're absolutely right. It is. It's a game of patience. You know, it's a game of patience. That's why online was so nice. You could jump into like a turbo tournament or something for $5, $10. And here's our auto. Not to disrupt the poker talk, but, you know, I think we'll have to for a minute. For the Twins, Tyler J. So you could potentially make $1,000 an hour. Nice auto. Tyler J. for the Twins. And who's got Minnesota Twins? Minnesota Twins. That's you, David G. You were asking me before which teams you have. That is you, my friend. Minnesota Twins. Tyler J. What were you saying there? So what you're saying is like poker hours and hours. I will play in a Go Fish Old Maid for $1,000 at the National. All right, we could do that. I would like to... We used to go to Atlantic City once a year. There was this thing called At-Large Poker. So At-Large stood for like Atlantic something. So it was like a meeting of all these like old-timers, like guys much older than me, that for years before poker really got big, would kind of gather together in these Usenet newsgroup forums and discuss poker and gambling and all kinds of different strategies and stuff like that. And they would get together once a year in Atlantic City, and the Taj Mahal would actually host the event, and they would play a tournament and stuff, and they would have some kind of dinner. And it was fun, but that whole scene has kind of gone away now. But for the National, if we did get a bunch of guys to break with us going out there... no, I don't play I'll play like $2 on the ponies. Like quite literally $2 I will play on the ponies. We have a harness racing track nearby, plus you can wager on any of the tracks in the whole country. Hans Gruber method, yeah. Is that a, what's the reference? Are you referencing, is that a Die Hard reference? All right, second half of this box, Die Hard. Yeah, I thought that was his name, Hans Gruber. I had to do a double take in my head. I initially got it, and then I'm like, wait a second. Am I an idiot? Am I laughing at something? It's not the real joke. Hans Gruber. Nakatomi Plaza. Man, I gotta watch that this season. I mean, that is... I saw something on somebody's Facebook today. There are two schools of thought around Die Hard as a Christmas movie. Those that think it is and those that are wrong. And it is a Christmas movie. Love me some Die Hard. The weather outside. The weather outside is not frightful around here. The weather outside in this neck of the woods last week was like 70, and we're in Pennsylvania. So it's getting a little colder now. We haven't even seen more than like a flurry of snow so far this season, and here it is like middle to late December. So keep cracking open those styrofoam boxes and spraying the hairspray. We're good to go. Got styrofoam boxes for the ozone layer. Yep, it is end of days. Cats and dogs living together. What's that reference from? I'm sure you know it. Cats and dogs living together. All right, we got a gold, I guess, right? Is that what they consider? Gold? Gold out of 50. 32 out of 50. Cole Tucker for Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates, David R. Congrats, David. Boom. Okay, Sam, boom. There you go, bud. Out of 50, Cole Tucker. 50 is always nice. That's where we start officially designating that a hit on our side of things. Now, the cats and dogs living together, I think, is a quote from Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, which I'll tell you, I love the original Ghostbusters. This new Ghostbusters that's going to be coming out, or was it out already? I don't even know. Or is it coming out? Zero interest in seeing it. What do you guys think? Are you Star Wars fans? Are you pumped up for this weekend? You going to see Star Wars? Oh, the Slimer movie. Oh, okay. Now I see what you're saying. I didn't know what you were saying there for a second. I got you now. Did you ever see, do you guys... I don't follow him on Twitter, but I know it's not him. I know it's this group of young guys that kind of like market for him. The Iron Sheik, the wrestler. The Iron Sheik, the wrestler, has a Twitter presence, and he's like posts some of the most out there crap ever. And when Harold Ramis died last year, maybe something like that. They posted something. You'll probably be able to find it. Do a Google search for the Iron Sheik Twitter Harold Ramis. I mean, it was crazy. It was like, you effing Slimer, Harold Ramis. Like, he was, these guys in the voice of the Iron Sheik were just going off. It's hysterical. Oh, it's crazy. And there's a documentary out there called Sheik, which is about the Iron Sheik. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a good watch, but it shows who these guys are. Like, it was like a friend of the family or something like that of the actual guy, the Iron Sheik, that is a young guy that knows social media and knows internet marketing and that stuff, and said, like, hey, you're the Iron Sheik. You still have a market out there. Like, let's get you on social media and establish a presence for you out there on social media and get you some money, because the guy was living in squalor. And so this family friend did that for him and got him this like presence out on social media. And now the guy is like, the Iron Sheik has kind of a following again amongst people that once liked him. And I I guess he's making his living off of this stuff. But they are very witty guys, these guys that post on his behalf. And it's some funny stuff. Yep, I know. Well, he was he the guy that actually, they explained it in that documentary, the Sheik documentary, about how the whole like championship and all that kind of stuff. And it's all hokey stuff, but the way that they kind of passed the championship from, was it like Bob Backlund or somebody like that, into the Sheik's hands, and then from the Sheik to Hulk Hogan. So, yep. Jay, who is our normal breaker, is obsessed with old school wrestling. He loves old school wrestling. He and his brother Eric are all about it. We have this little place, the CYC. It was a little venue back in the day that they used to hold WWF wrestling events at, and like all the big names would come here, like Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy, all these guys from the 80s wrestling would come here and do it. Ivan Koloff. Mr. Fuji and Saito. Remember those two? Fuji would throw the salt in people's eyes. You know, I'm going to do both stacks this time, or maybe even one big stack. That's what we're doing. I feel a little more comfortable with this method. We're going one big stack. Guys, I don't want to even jinx it by asking this, but I know that like breakers used to constantly give us troubles with like video hiccups and stuff like that. I don't hear too many guys saying that these days. It seems like maybe they upped their game a little bit and the video quality is a little better. How has it been on your guys' side when you're watching this stuff? Way better? Yeah, I think they might have dumped some money into their streaming servers finally, you know. I mean, it was bad for a while, and we would get guys coming in that were new breakers with us, and they would think somehow we were causing it, and our internet connection here is a ridiculously fast internet connection. It's like a 100 meg internet connection, so it's super fast. So the bottleneck was and had always been breakers. All right, let's try to organize these so we're not having like a leaning stack falling over. And we're trying to go full box in one shot this time. They spent more money. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool service they provide here. I can't bash them. I mean, it takes a lot of stuff. I know technical stuff, and it takes a lot to do what they're doing here. But I mean, I had a technical question for them. I sent them an email. They have this like tech channel. If you click on that little question mark down below the chat, there's a link there for Tech Corner. That's a channel just like this one that has some of their tech guys just kind of chilling out, sitting in it. If you ever have tech questions, you can go over there and ask them live. They don't sit there anymore. I used to be able to pop over there and ask them questions about technical stuff related to like getting the better quality streams and stuff going on here for everybody. They no longer sit there and monitor that tech channel, it seems. I don't know, maybe they just weren't the last 2 times I was over there. I even sent them an email this week to ask them, because the question I had was with their new redesign, that they clearly have a redesign going on here. The video is way bigger on the webpage, so I think we need to adjust our broadcast settings to account for that, to like give the better quality video. But I can't really get an answer from them as to what the suggested sizing is. So for now, we're still pushing the video the same size as we did before. But it's fine. I mean, it looks okay. we actually, they do that banner advertising on here where when you load up a Breakers channel, you see it ads for other Breakers. We did that the first month that they offered it, which was like 3 months ago. We did a 3-month run with them. There he is again. Nothing but just showing you as I'm flipping through. We did a 3-month advertising run with them on that. We're like, well, we need to do some advertising out there, and where better to advertise than in a place with Breakers? And let me tell you, it got us really nothing. We spent a lot of money on it too. So we are not doing it anymore. And I don't think a lot of guys are doing it anymore. If you remember those ads, they'd come up and they would cycle through like 10 guys, 15 guys. Now I think they cycle through maybe 3 or 4 guys that are actually still doing the advertising with them. And we got some coloring here for Houston, AJ Reed. These are out of 150, 111 out of 150, AJ Reed for the Astros. And Houston Astros, Robert E.C. Yeah, that's some cool looking blue. I do like that as well. Yours showed none of the your ad here, so maybe I mean, guys that are putting the money out of pocket are getting the wise to it and realizing that there's not a lot of value to be had in that advertising. We didn't find that there was. I mean, truthfully, if you're a breaker like we are, I can just push the live stream to the channel with like an advertisement in it and get the same effect as if I'm doing. Here he is again. It's the third one, right? At least the third one. I may have blazed through some of those. Get the same effect as if we were paying for the advertising, but the orange and the red. Yep. Willie Adams. We had two. Is there any guarantee on how many orange, or you're just kind of like crapshoot on the orange? Because we had 2 orange in the first wax that we did. We had, I think, like the glossy, and we also had a paper. So like the refractor orange, I guess. I think they just lock you into it. Like you say, okay, we're doing a 3-month advertising run with you. Here's our banner. Maybe if you did contact them, they would allow you to change it. But when I first put the ad out with them, it was like, here's our banner, and that's pretty much the one they stick you with, is the banner that you have right from day one. We also do a little bit of advertising with Jimmy over at Group Break Checklist. We have a button up top on there. But I don't know, man. I don't think any of those forms of advertising has really given us all that much for the dollars that we're putting out there. Stuff is not cheap. And Google AdWords is not really the answer for this game. We tried it. And I've done Google AdWords for years with other industries. But Google AdWords for the break scene is a very tough proposition. I was talking about it the other day. Like, if you know AdWords and you've tinkered with any online marketing, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, you don't want to be found when someone's searching for Topps baseball cards, because chances are they're not looking for breakers. They're just looking for Topps baseball cards. So now you're paying like $3 for that click to come into your website from Google, when someone's just doing a generic search for Topps baseball cards, and they're not going to buy your breaks. So you can spend hundreds of dollars a day, truthfully, hundreds of dollars a day, if you just kind of like open up the floodgates on your spend. So you got to really monitor those campaigns like crazy. Alright, that wasn't too bad doing it the full box method. That was definitely a whole lot faster. And here you go, my friend. Booyah! Booyah! There he is. There you go. Jeff W. I like it. I like it a lot. Mr. Ash Russell. You got it, buddy. You got it. I wish you could have got some numbering in there for you as well. Maybe it'll still be to come. You never know. But you'll take that, I'm sure. Very nice. Now for some color number. Heck yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hey, we want to see you guys get as max value as possible off this stuff. Off any stuff we break. And hey, we're being greedy by saying that too, because we want you to get value so that you come back and break with us some more. I was looking at our eBay feedback. I'm a little bit obsessed with looking at our eBay feedback to see kind of what guys post. And there was a guy who's broken with us several times. And he didn't leave a negative feedback. He left a neutral feedback, like yesterday. And it said, lost a random to somebody that came in and bought some cheap cards, never coming back again, or something to that effect. And that just blew my mind. Like, so this guy's bashing us in a public view on eBay feedback because we lost a random and saying he's never coming back. Now, this guy had broken with us. I looked up his history. He broke with us probably a dozen times, and he came in through eBay, I think, every single one of those times. And I just can't get the thought process around getting sour and going out and smashing the breaker in a public view like an eBay feedback when you know what the break game is all about. Like, you're not getting into this stuff with blinders on. You know what you're getting into here. So, I don't know. I'm just venting a little bit, but yeah, exactly. And we do it fairly. I mean, we if you scroll down our page here, there is a big section on there, how randoms work. And I have a link right to our website telling how we run our particular randoms. So we're as, like, you know, full disclosure as possible as far as, like, how we run our operation here. And the randoms are a part of that. Exactly, Busy. And it wasn't negative. He left neutral. So it's really not a black mark on my eBay. But it still burns me a little bit that, like, he took the time out of his life to go on there and leave that in a fashion that, you know, could look bad on us for future people coming in to buy. I don't know. Yeah, eBay is tough, man. eBay. We are doing less and less sales on eBay, and I think it's because there's a mentality on eBay, and there's guys that are on breakers.tv right now. I see their icon in the top bar that are big-time sellers on eBay. Big-time sellers. And they sell their spots for stuff like $4.99 and things like that. So Jay and I, out of curiosity, did the math. Because you could look up completed listings. So we looked up completed listings on several of the case breaks that some of these sellers on eBay did. And when you do the math, like, we're all getting these cases for basically the same price. Unless you're buying in massive, massive volume from a wholesale distributor, everybody's getting these cases for pretty much the same price. And these guys, if you did the math on all their 30 spots in a baseball product, were essentially losing like $300 to $400. I mean, clearly it's impossible. They can't be losing $300 to $400 and staying in the break business. So what's going on there? How can they sell these spots for $4.99? The only thing I can figure out is some of these guys, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody in particular, but some of these guys have to be holding back maybe 1/3 or more of the case for themselves, like all the premium spots, and hedging their bets on that and basically reselling all that stuff, the cards themselves on eBay. So anything they sell break-wise in terms of spots is kind of a subsidy for the cost of the case. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe I have a tinfoil hat on and I'm a conspiracy theorist on that, but there's no way they could be selling these cases and these breaks when you do the math on all the spots, losing several $100. just isn't possible. But I digress. I digress. But if somehow they're getting their cases for way better prices than everybody else and they're still making a little bit of profit selling as cheap as they do, then they have hit the golden goose because we can't figure it out. Saturday's break day? What do you mean there, Dustin? You mean most of the guys come and do their breaks here on Saturday? Excuse me. Most action. Huh. Never knew that. We're only usually on during the week. We almost never break on Saturdays. In fact, I don't think that we ever have broken on a Saturday. Maybe we should give it a shot one of these weeks. This week is out. Following week's going to be out because it's going to be the holiday weekend. Thursday is a pretty good night. Like tonight, I think there's a lot of activity going on. But Saturday's the day, huh? Yeah, I mean, we want to get to a point where basically we can have most of our stuff pre-sold before we even, launch the stream and not have to sit here and beg. I mean, it drives us crazy that we have to do that, and I'm sure it drives you guys crazy. It makes you feel like we're holding you hostage to do these breaks, and we certainly don't want that feel. We don't want you guys to think we're holding you hostage, but the truth of the matter is, and I've talked about this numerous times this week even alone, we price these breaks in such a way that we need to sell all 30 teams in a baseball product to hit our number. If we don't sell them all, we can't just absorb 3, 4, 5 empty spots and say, we're going to run the break anyway. Because it is priced out in such a way that we need to sell those spots. Yep, and here's our auto. Interrupted by this auto. Eric Jenkins for Texas. Is that our second Texas auto? Eric Jenkins for Texas, and Texas is Larry D, I believe. I'm looking at my spreadsheet way over on a monitor that's way off to the side here. Larry D. Let me just look through these autos real quick. I think that might be, is it? Or maybe I'm smoking something here. Maybe it was just a numbered card before. No, I must be smoking something. Congrats, though. Very nice. Auto for Texas. So what upcoming stuff are you guys excited for? Anybody interested in Strata Baseball? That's tentatively, I think, supposed to be next week. Both next day, probably got paid on Friday, might be drinking. Yeah, you're right, Dustin. You're absolutely right. We will have to take that into consideration. Take full advantage. Drunk buys are a bitch. Drunk buys could result in chargebacks. That's what scares me. We have been pretty fortunate in the time that we've been doing this stuff that we haven't really had to deal with like credit card fraud. We had one transaction early on with our credit card, just a standard credit card, not PayPal, that it got flagged as like a stolen card, and we had to eat like $250. I had the guys, like, our e-commerce platform stores the IP address of the buyer when they come in, all their information. I provided that all to the credit card company. They still made us eat like $250. Whatever. Can't eat too many of those $250 things and still stay in business, that's for sure. Cost of business. It is. It absolutely is. You're going to get one every once in a while. We had a guy. Here's a good story for you. So we had a guy buy in very early on. We started doing this stuff like over a year and a half ago into our very first case of Allen and Ginter baseball. Yeah, it does hurt either way. I mean, especially for that kind of dollar amount. Like, we're not a huge operation. $250 stings us pretty badly. Pretty badly. But, we had a guy buy into Allen & Ginter, and if you know Allen & Ginter, the kind of product that is, it's kind of a crazy, nutty product, but it's fun. We like it. We seem to have a bunch of guys that buy it on our eBay auctions. So the guy buys in. He's sitting on the spot for a while. The break goes off, and then he asks for a refund, literally after the break goes off, and his cards are in the mail. And we're like, buddy, the break went off. Your cards are literally in the mail being shipped to you. Of course we cannot provide you a refund. You know? And he put in a dispute on eBay. And of course eBay will side with the buyer almost every time, because they want the buyer to feel like they're having a safe buying experience on eBay. And they will just... You can probably have a video of like the person logging into your website, making the purchase, and then saying on video that they're doing a fraudulent transaction against the seller, and eBay will still side with the buyer. It's just absolutely nuts how for the buyer they are, because they want this safe harbor buying experience to be going on. But anyway, long story short, this guy charges back on us. We get burned for money. So I ban them from buying off of us, because you can actually add eBay IDs into a blocked list. So I ban him so that he can't come in and burn us again. So, I don't know, maybe 2 months, 3 months goes by. This guy pops in my email. Yeah, he pops in my email and he's like, hey, I don't know why you banned me. What happened here? I was looking to buy one of your whatever breaks. And I had to, like, send him back this detailed response like, bud, you don't remember, like, burning us for this money? So I had a good discussion with the guy. I wasn't a dick. I was very reasonable, and I said, listen, we need buyers. I'll give you another chance. No harm. You burned us for this money, but I'll let you buy again off of us. So I open up his eBay ID to buy off of us again. And he comes in and buys and then disappears, of course, like the next day. He never buys again. So kind of an anticlimactic story there, but it's just ridiculous. Some of the crap. How do banks treat people? eBay, PayPal is the internet bank. I mean, yeah, eBay, PayPal is the internet bank. And for the longest time, eBay, PayPal were merged together. Now I know PayPal split off into its own entity, which is still like a subsidiary of eBay. But we also, like our credit card processing on the website, I have 2 different credit card processors on the website. If you don't use PayPal, you can use credit card. And I have 2 different methods up there. One is using a credit card processor called Braintree. And the second one is using a credit card processor called Stripe. Stripe is awesome. Braintree is pretty cool, but Braintree is actually a company now owned by PayPal. But the cool thing about Braintree is, and keep this in mind, guys, if you're ever doing e-commerce yourself, you can process through Braintree for all new accounts. They give you the first $50,000 worth of credit card processing with no processing fees, which is, when you do the math on it, so you're not getting the 30-cent per transaction fee and you're not getting the 2.9% on every dollar fee. It equates to, based on your average ticket price, it equates to something like $2,000 worth of real money back in your pocket. So that's pretty good. Not too many free lunches in that world. Then they charge 50. No, then they just charge the standard amount. It's the exact same fee structure as PayPal. 30 cents per transaction and 2.9% on the transaction value. So they charge the exact, it's pretty much the industry standard if you're using those kind of processors. If you had your own merchant account from a bank and use like authorize.net or something like that as your gateway, you might be able to get like a 0.5% lower. It's not even worth it for the bullshit you have to go through. All right. 1 stack of High Society coming at us. What's that from? 3 stacks of High Society. Whoa. That's a little movie reference right there. One we were just talking about a couple days ago. Third fat. You're cheating again. You're cheating again. Don't do it. Got anything? Nothing. 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 And again, guys, if I'm skipping over anything, give me a kick. Give me a kick. Little Matt Damon and Edward Norton. You got it. 3 stacks of High Society. Chick, chick, chick. Man, I love rounders. First time I ever saw rounders, I was actually in Vegas for an internet convention. The year that rounders came out, which was 1998, I was out there for this internet convention. That's how long I've been at internet stuff, guys. Since 1997, I started doing internet marketing and websites. So here is another blue for you. Another blue. What's our numbering? 38 out of 150 on the Cubs. Carson Sands. Chicago Cubs is Kevin K. Kanish. Does Kanish still have the truck? Carson Sands. There's the blue again. Like the looks of the blue. You know, I'm going to have to do a little rewatch of Rounders one of these days. I think it's on Netflix currently. I think it is on Netflix. Jay, who is, my partner in crime here at this operation, he and I actually met through poker. So years ago, my brother and I were co-owners of a bar. It was a bar restaurant. It was an Irish pub. Very nice place. It's unfortunate the way it went down. My brother got sick, and unfortunately we had to close. We had it for like 9 years. Opened up in 2000, and we ran one of those free tavern poker nights when poker was in its like heyday, 2006, 2007. We ran one of those, and Jay came in as one of our customers. So talking about degenerates, I met Jay because he came in to my bar as a guy looking to play free poker. So, yeah, bar. Well, the bar was my brother was in the bar business for like 15 years. He worked for a family-owned operation here locally that was very successful, and he was one of their main managers. And I had some success with internet business way back in the day and had some capital to invest, so he approached me about opening up our own place, and we did. And we had that place from 2000 through 2008. Not to give you guys too much of a sob story, but my brother actually developed a brain tumor, which is crazy. Just a couple days ago, on December 15th, would be the 6-year anniversary of him passing away, which is just nuts. to think about. The guy was 42. Crazy stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Life, I have had a pretty crazy roller coaster of a life the last 15 or so years. Yep, and here's an orange. Here is an orange. I know these are out of 25, right? 25 for the Dodgers. Come on, focus. So all the stuff I wasn't trying to focus on seems like it was focusing. If I can get it to focus, we'll know who we're looking at here, right? Jose De Leon. Is that how you pronounce? I might be butchering some name action here because 2 out of 25. Very nice numbering. And the Dodgers in this one, LA Dodgers, Dustin, that's you, bud. Congrats there, sir. Nice one for you. And that's an orange paper, in case you were curious. If you didn't see, it was just the paper version. But that is a nice little card right there. Tulsa here with the Drillers. Teams of tomorrow. If they're the teams of tomorrow, who's the team of today? Food for thought, right? And moving along. Moving along. But yeah, the bar business. It's for sale. Dustin said it's for sale. Yeah, okay. Dustin and Donnie. So Midas Touch and Dustin 42 buy into a lot of our breaks, and they are big card resellers. So any of their spots would always, probably always, be up for grabs if you're hanging out here on the same night that they are in one of the chats. And Dustin, I haven't reached out to that contact yet that you gave me over at COMC. I've just been a little overwhelmed with all the stuff going on here this week. But I will be doing that probably as soon as Jay comes back and I have a little more breathing room. I do appreciate that information again. I mean, that does sound like a really sweet deal. If, you know, do you know how many breakers they're kind of doing that same thing with at the moment? Where's your Dodgers affiliate? Rockies before that. Just reading your message there in the chat window. Okay. They're not doing it with anybody, really. Well, then, that could be really beneficial for us, then. I thought maybe they were already kind of wrapped up with a few guys doing the same thing. I mean, that's even bigger than I would have thought, then. Yep. If there was a way, and I mean, I'll have to talk to their person and see exactly how they would propose doing something like that. Like if it's going to be possibly, if we work out a deal, okay, we're going to buy X amount of, like, you know, gift certificate codes off of you guys, meaning us, per month. And we would set them up ahead of time so they would have kind of an inventory of codes that they would be able to give out to their people, like $25 and $50 increments and stuff like that. I think that's probably how it would go down, but I don't know. I'm sure there's a way through programming that it can be done in more of a real-time fashion, you know, because I'm always looking for that angle through programming. You should see the crazy programming stuff we have on our side. No breaker out there has the stuff that we have because I've been doing this for 20 years. So unless somebody else is doing this stuff for as long as I have, there's no way they have the knowledge on the programming side of things that I do. And there we go. Boom. Boom. Mariano Rivera for the Wegmans, for the Washington Nationals. Very nice. I always make fun, like their logo, right? I don't know if you guys have Wegmans. Wegmans is a fantastic grocery chain up here in the Northeast. I think they originated in like the upstate New York area. But that logo looks exactly like Wegmans W Pop. So Jay and I always bust ass and say the Fighting Wegmans. Washington Nationals. And who is the Washington Nationals? That's you, Donnie. There you go, Dustin and Donnie. That one is coming your way. The Kids of Superstars. Yeah, I mean, in this product, what were we talking about the other night? There was at least 2 to 3 guys that you guys had mentioned in the chat that were kids of previous big name players, right? I can tell you all the details. I have run a bunch of new software projects. Oh, awesome, Dustin. Very cool. Yeah, once I get a little breathing room, like once all this stuff is sorted, that's been breaking throughout the week, then I will have a little more breathing room to sit and chit-chat about it. So don't think I'm not paying attention to you on that request. But yeah, we'll definitely get together on a call and talk about it if that's cool. And the Wegmans. Yep. Wegmans is awesome. I don't know if you guys have Wegmans all the way down your way. They are mostly, I believe, Northeast, right? Look up Wegmans, Google up Wegmans W Pop. Like the letter W space P-O-P. So it's like their name brand, like their store brand, generic Coca-Cola and stuff like that. Oh, okay. So you know Wegmans. So Wegmans generic store brand Coca-Cola, the logo for that. I'm telling you, man, it looks just like the Washington Nationals W. Piggly Wiggly. Aha. That was also, what movie was the Piggly Wiggly? I think. Was it Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Or no, that was something with the pig and the big sundae that Napoleon was eating in the one scene. Driving Miss Daisy. Jessica Tandy. You know, I've never seen that movie. I have never seen that movie. Although, is it anything like Drive with Ryan Gosling? Kidding. Kidding. Because Drive with Ryan Gosling, I thought Drive with Ryan Gosling was an awesome movie, but man, that was one violent movie. That one was giving me trouble getting open. Old lead sleds, yep. Yep. Which way am I going with these? Did I just flip this whole... Yeah, I did, didn't I? Hold on. We want to have everything facing the same way so that I'm not effing this all up once I get down to this point in the stack. Stay there. There we go. Okay, moving along. I've also never seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I know it had that soundtrack and the whole shebang going on there. Whoa, jeepers, man. I'm like wreaking havoc here. I know. I'm doing a horrible job. And here I will actually show you guys my stack of wrappers because cards flew like right into the wrappers just so you can see that there's no loose cards kind of still in there. Again, full disclosure. I was saying the other night, we had guys early on when we started doing breaks, Jay would kind of like, if it was a small box of cards, he would, like a small pack, he would do something like this. He would stage them up there, and then he would take them one into frame at a time. We had guys saying, like, you're pulling a sleight of hand and you're somehow showing, like, you're putting the cards off camera and you're switching them out. Which, to me, is just nutso that someone could even think that. But I suppose there's some guys out there that are trying to pull fast ones. Busy movie weekend, yeah, man. I would love it. I think, unfortunately, I'm going to be, at least for one of those days, sorting cards so that I can get them out in the mail. Card people are... Yeah, I figured it out pretty early on, Dustin. To be honest, I thought, like, oh, this is a nice group of guys. And there's a lot of nice guys in it. There are. You guys are hanging out. You guys are always awesome guys. But there's some crazies out there on this stuff. There are some crazies. Good news. Arts and Craftsman Extended. Oh, I've seen River Runs Through It. I love A River Runs Through It. That was a great movie. I have seen A River Runs Through It many times, actually. I see a purple creeping up on us, coming at us here. What are the purples again? 250. Grant Holmes for the Dodgers, 95 out of 250. Grant Holmes for the Dodgers. Who is LA Dodgers? That's you, Dustin. Color creeping on up. Well, it was creeping on up. So, anybody? The Star Wars? Anybody going to see it over the weekend? No excitement around Star Wars? Christmas Eve ticks? Yeah, I won't go near the theater until, I don't know, maybe like a week. Maybe middle of next week or something like that. I'll give it a shot. I just don't want to deal with the craziness that's going to be opening weekend, because that'll be nuts. Out of the gazillion theaters, it'll be nuts. Got numbered seating in the director's... Really? That's pretty cool. We do not have anything like that around here. We have kind of a fake IMAX theater. It's not really the full-size IMAX. It calls itself IMAX, but it's not. It's kind of like half the size of a real IMAX. That's what you get for living in Bumble F, small town PA. You grew up in a small town like that? Yep. So you know where I'm coming from. I mean, this area has a lot of things going for it in a lot of senses, but it is definitely very small town. We do have W Pop, aka Washington Nationals Pop. And Paper Blue. Give me the pronunciation on this one. For the Indians. KI? Yeah, Tom. 89 out of 150 for the Indians. But it's, I guess, the paper version, right? So, Cleveland Indians, that's David G. David, if you're still hanging out, that's going to you, my friend. Mine called and stick it somewhere. I mean, this area 100 years ago, well before my time, it was a big area. It was a big money area, and coal mining and anthracite coal specifically was the driving force behind that. They call Scranton, and here we go. There is the Cam Gibson that we see so many times. It's that same card over and over again, but this is the auto. We like it. For Detroit. Cam Gibson for Detroit. Who is Detroit? That's Christopher R. I believe Christopher R. for Detroit. Cam Gibson, going to you, my friend. Chugging along here, guys. Chugging along. The home of Dunder Mifflin. If you guys watched The Office back in the day. Scranton, PA. Fictionally the home of Dunder Mifflin, because the company, of course, does not really exist, but it's based on a real company called Paper Magic. That is a real company in Scranton. But the funny thing about The Office, if you guys did watch that, they would toss out references to local Scranton businesses in every episode that were real businesses. So somebody on the prop team or whatever did their research all the time. Like the high school that Jim Halpert, one of the main characters, went to, is actually the high school that I and Jay graduated from. So that's a true statistic. It was called Bishop O'Hara High School. It was a Catholic high school. Both Jay and I went to that high school, and Jim Halpert from The Office graduated from that high school. Fictionally, of course. So that's a pretty funny stat for you. All right. Last four. 5 down, 4 to go. Or no. What do we got? 7, 8. These are 12 boxers, right? So 8 down, 4 to go? 8 down, 4 to go, I think. I'm losing my mind. What do I know? The jumbo's 8. The wax is 12, right? It makes you famous. So when The Office was still a show, they had, I think I've told this story the one time during one of the breaks. They used to, when it was still a thing, they would have the prop master from NBC come here to Scranton once a year and set up like a table in one of the malls, local malls, the Steamtown Mall. And if you had a local business, you would be able to go and submit things to the prop master, like coffee mugs, sweatshirts, calendars, things like promotional stuff that would have your logo and your company name on it. And they wouldn't give you a guarantee that it would get into the show, but they would try to get it into the show, and you'll see a lot of stuff on that show that is actual local Scranton business from those little prop events. This way I said, we want more chatting because we're greedy. We want people in the room, which results in guys buying. But the problem is, as a one-man show, I can't throw my links to other things we're filling up in the chat. I should have run my iMacro script, which is what I did yesterday. Run the iMacro script on the other computers so it keeps posting them for me. No way, man. You guys rock. You guys have been the driving force behind these draft breaks, and we appreciate that, because these things have been problematic for us to get filled. And then last night, Jason B really stepped up and helped us out on our last triple threads, number 4. 12-spot pickup at the end to get it filled. 12-spot pickup. We needed it because the natives were getting restless. The natives were getting restless for sure on that one. Refund requests were imminent. First step. Yes, it is. Now you guys are aware, with Dustin and Donnie, whoever else is listening in, please do be aware that if we have cases that are stuck and we just can't get them filled, it's not for lack of trying. Like our side of this partnership and doing breaks, and they really are. They're a partnership. We're buying these cases. You guys are buying into them. We're ripping them. I look at it as a partnership. Our side of it is buy the case, promote the case, and try to get it filled. But that partnership, in my mind, extends to the breakers too, to ask you guys to promote it a little bit for us as well, because it's in everybody's best interest to get it filled. So we have some guys that buy off of us, and especially going back to the eBay crowd, they just kind of don't get that. They think they're just buying in, and we should break it the very next day. And if it were that easy, everybody in the world would be doing it. But it's not that easy. So if you're buying in, just have a little patience for us. Sometimes it takes our breaks a little longer to fill. Need to see it break. Hey, we like having the audience, like we keep saying over and over again, and I keep pumping in all of our emails and all that stuff, make an effort to come out to the live event. I would say out of like a 30-person case, if we have 20 unique participants, maybe only like 4 of them show up to the live event. Everybody else is just watching the YouTube video, which is absolutely fine. That's everybody's prerogative to do so. But you're definitely helping the cause if you're showing up on these nights of the live event. It's also fun. We want to make, have a good time with this stuff. Not just use the numbers for sales, but both helps out, having the fun with it. Everybody has a good time, but also the bigger the numbers in the chat room, the more possibility we have of selling stuff out that's, stagnant that we can't fill. Drug peddler. Pushing brakes is kind of like that, right? Some guys have an addiction to cards and booms and everything else. Moving along, boss. Moving along, Luke. And I see a purple creeping up. Purple for San Fran creeping up. Ronnie, who is it? Jabavy? I don't know. I'm crushing names. You guys can see it on screen. For San Fran, purple. 169 out of 250. San Fran is... That's you, Dustin. That's you, Dustin. Yeah, we don't like to use the G word when it comes to the breaks because that gets into a gray area. All of a sudden, PayPal will no longer process transactions for it if they can deem it that. There you go. Crown Royal spots. Awesome. Thanks for that. Oh, it's all good. You can post it in the chat. I'm just busting ass. Like, we try to stay away from the gambling word because it is definitely a gray area. Like, the whole providing of breaks. Yeah, we're providing cards, but there is an element of risk-reward involved in it. Good. I'm not either. But guys, Donnie, Midas Touch just posted that link. That link will take you to Crown Royal Football Team Break number 1, I believe. That is the brand new Crown Royal Football that just came out yesterday. We got 3 cases of it. We're having a tough time getting them filled, even though our prices were reduced not once, but twice this week. Plus, you can use coupon code SAVE10 on those spots. That'll get you an extra 10% off. But do not be shy. Jump in. There's a lot of good teams still left out there. And guys, if you're comparing our prices to some of the other breakers that still have spots available in that, like I said earlier, do take into account that even if our prices are just like $1 or $2 higher, when you put that 10% coupon on that spot, chances are we're going to be lower than the other guys. So do take into that, take that into account. Here he is, 4th time, 5th time. How many times we got this card? We got a bunch of them. '89 Pro Set. Yep. I mean, you're either a baseball guy, football guy. I mean, some guys collect it all. Some guys buy it all just to kind of resell. That's Donnie and Dustin. You guys don't. Do you guys get into hockey and stuff too? I think you guys buy into... Pretty sure Donnie and Dustin, you guys buy into other stuff aside from baseball. I'm like losing my mind right now thinking you've been in our football stuff. Numbered on paper to 499, 83 out of 499. Tyler Alexander for the Tigers. Alright, and last little stack of this box. What do we got here? I think it's just a non-numbered color. And there's the same card that we just pulled the auto of a minute ago, the Cam Gibson again. Chugging along, fellas. Just, yep. We have broken some hockey. We have a tough time selling it. I don't know if it's just the crowd. And here's our auto, guys, for the Dodgers. For the Dodgers. Walker, Texas Ranger. Is it Bueller? Like Ferris Bueller? Is that how you pronounce it? For the Dodgers. And the LA Dodgers is yourself, Dustin. This card coming your way. Yep. That is going to Dustin. It's a pretty good looking auto right there. And that'll do it for that box. Let me get a little organized off to the side here, guys. Give me just a minute to do that. So, do you guys have any interest in the Strata that's coming out? I haven't looked at the lineup to see who's already pre-bought into that. I don't know if you guys, any of the guys that are chilling here tonight, are in that stuff with us. Oh, let me see. I will get a link for you because that's just what I do. Strata Baseball. Strata Baseball. So, tentatively coming out. It's supposed to be coming out next week on the 23rd. It would not shock me if Topps pulls one of their 11th hour bullshit moves where they like change the date of it like literally the day before, because that's just what they do. But Strata Baseball and Strata Football, if you do a search on our website for Strata Football is coming out the same day as well. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I can certainly look at the lineup. We have spreadsheets and stuff with all the participants. I just don't have it handy right now. Give me just a minute, guys. We'll get into these last 3 boxes. Just getting organized off to the side. All right, last 3 boxes coming at us. Booms ahead. Get Archives and Stadium Club for 2016. Stadium Club, I can't remember which one we did really well with. We were breaking a whole bunch. I don't know if it was Stadium Club or which one it was. We had a guy that was breaking with us for a while, and he was, maybe it was Supreme. Might have been Supreme. I can't remember right now. But he would, like, if we got a case of it, he would buy 15 spots in that case every time. And he was really driving us to keep getting more and more of it. And then we started getting some flack, and this is a good one for you. We started getting some flack from our eBay guys saying, like, hey, I see you're breaking this stuff, but every time I go to buy into it, this team and that team and that team are already gone. Are you guys holding back teams for yourself? Well, no, we're not. But we had a breaker that was interested in those teams, and we had an ongoing agreement that any time we were going to rip one of those cases, he was going to buy those teams off of us. So, yeah, we were willing to give him those teams if he was going to buy half the case from us. And then we said on like maybe the 8th or 9th go-round of it, we said, you know what? Let's kind of put these out there to the public and give somebody else a shot at them. And the last case, went over like a lead balloon because he was driving all the sales in it, and the other guys didn't want to spend the money. Break number 1 for Strata. Cool, appreciate it. You're already in it there, okay? Or you're saying you're going to give it a shot? You're going to pick something up tonight? Or I think you said you were already snagged a spot earlier. In it already? Awesome. Well, my friend, don't be shy. Other spots out there, 2 other cases. Gotta keep the promotion machine going. The spots don't sell themselves, right? Gotta keep it going. Finest and Bowman's Best. Yeah, the Bowman's Best, I think we got a bunch of good early pickups in that one. I think we might be in like the low 20s. So like the better part of a third of those cases is already gone, which is really good for early pre-sales. Randoms are really cool. We put out a survey about a month and a half ago and asked everybody, like, what would you like to see? One of the overwhelming things guys were coming at us with in the survey responses was, please start offering more randoms. So if you notice on our website, we put up like 4 or 5 randoms. We're like, okay, let's do it. We tried randoms before. We couldn't get them sold. Maybe our audience has changed. Let's put them back up. And it was crickets, and we could not sell any spots. We might have sold like a couple spots in those randoms. So I don't know, our break buyers just don't want them. I know some guys can sell out randoms like nothing. Some breakers can just say, okay guys, here's a random, we got 30 spots, you give it 10 minutes, they're sold out. We do not have that audience. I wish we did. But we don't, and we understand that, so we have to kind of give everybody that we can sell to what they want, which is more or less pick your team. And not only just pick your team, look at that. I might as well show it. Is it anything? It's nothing. I thought it was a little something. It just so happens that's where I kind of broke my stack. But yeah, the randoms are really, I like the idea of a random. I mean, you're buying into something for a much lower cost than, here you go, here's an Ash, Kyle Zimmer, dual, die cut. Very nice. There's your guy. Nice looking card. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, if we were able to sell randoms more, we would offer randoms more, but we just don't get buyers on them. We did get the buyers on the hit draft last night, and that is effectively a random, but a whole different kind of random than just the normal 30 or 32 team random. I mean, the hit drafts are great. If we can get guys stepping up and willing to spend that kind of money, you can sell those out really quickly if it's a product like Dynasty that has such interest because they're, you know, so high end with the hit value. And another orange paper. Another orange paper. For some reason, these papers, you would think they would focus really easily. Bailey Falter for the Phillies. 12 out of 25 on this paper. 12 out of 25. And who is the Philadelphia Phillies in this one? Is Donnie P. That's going to you, Donnie. The Dynasty is a... I just can't pull the trigger on that level. Yep. It is a high ticket price. But it's one of those high buy-in, you know, high risk, high reward kind of things. But even if you're thinking about it, like I said earlier, from a perspective of, hey, you know what? If you want to treat yourself to a factory-sealed, unopened box, you jump over on David Adams and you buy one. Well, a factory-sealed, unopened box, here's a purple for Tampa Bay, Willie Adams. And the numbering is 37 out of 250. The factory-sealed, unopened box of Dynasty is one card in that box, and it cost you $275, whereas our draft is also one card, and it was $250. So you were getting a good value off of us. Yep. And we priced it that way specifically because we know that our audience typically will not buy into really high-end stuff like that, so we kind of have to be lower than most. And here's our auto. Our auto for Atlanta, Lucas Herbert. Atlanta Braves. And Atlanta Braves is, that's the gentleman's name who I was just absolutely crushing earlier. Achiro T. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize, my friend. Achiro T. Atlanta Braves. Lucas Herbert auto. So our guys from Asia really like the baseball product, but really love the basketball product. We have several guys when we're in the season and we're doing a lot of basketball. A lot of that stuff is going to Asia. Stadium Club for 16. I think so. I think we will be doing it. I don't know. Hold on. Let me take a quick look. I'm going to put those down for 1 sec and take a look. Do we have it on the site currently? We don't have it on the site currently, but we definitely have done it in the past. So it's probably just too far out on the release cycle yet for us to even put it up there. Usually the rule of thumb that we go by is like a month, month and a half before it comes out. We'll get it up on the site and start pre-selling it. Like a week to 2 weeks before that, we'll put it up before the actual release. We'll put it up on eBay because eBay will eat us alive on those 30-cent insertion fees. If they don't sell and they keep going, and they don't sell and they keep going another 30 cents, that stuff eats you alive. You think, 30 cents, but it's 30 cents times 30 or 32 teams times how many cycles that they run. All your profit is sucked right out of the case. Just saying, get it? Yep, definitely. We certainly will. What's the release date on that? The tentative release date on it? Do you know? Is it a January or February product, or even later? April, May, June, around that time? Yeah, so that's definitely why we don't have it listed yet. I mean, we get these emails from our wholesale distributors saying what's coming out way that early, and you could obviously look at it on like Dave & Adams and places like that to see. I'm sure those dates will be shifted around multiple times by the time the product actually hits the shelf, but because Topps cannot commit to a particular release date almost ever. Neither can Panini. Do appreciate it. Absolutely. And guys, anybody that is hanging out with us here tonight that might be new, doesn't really hang out with us all that often, please do follow our channel here on Breakers. And you can do that by clicking the follow button right under the video. I believe with the new redesign on Breakers, they moved it underneath the volume controls. So right underneath where your mute button and the volume slider is a little follow button with the heart. Please do click on that. Again, it helps us move up on the Breakers list, which in turn gets more people looking at our channel, in turn gets more spots filled, so on. Big snowball effect. Yep. It's like you almost don't even look at those emails anymore with the updated release dates because they're so frequent that you just start zoning them out after a while. And then you realize at some point you're like, oh shit, they modified like 5 release dates of stuff that we're breaking. I guess I better go in and like change on the website and on our eBay listings, because if you don't, people go crazy. Yep, but as I was saying, guys, anybody that's chilling out, maybe doesn't hang with us all that often, please do follow our channel. I think we started the night tonight at 267. Maybe we can get to 270. Just 3 more followers, we can get to 270. That would be awesome. And what Breakers does when you do follow the channel, it sends out a quick little email every time we go live saying Sports Box Breaks is live on Breakers TV. So if you kind of forgot that you were involved in a break, you will get a little email blip from Breakers to announce that we're live. So that's a little added benefit. Last 2 boxes. Last 2 boxes. Thank you, okay. Appreciate that. Yep, the more followers, the better. We keep tossing this around, and we've been tossing this around for the better part of 6 months. Like, oh, we're going to move over to Ustream, and we want to move over to Ustream. But then it almost begs the question, is it worth moving over to Ustream? Because the audience is here. There's a built-in audience of guys already looking for breaks on breakers.tv. But like I was talking about the other night, I truly believe that we're potentially and everybody, this goes for everybody that breaks on breakers. You put in the hard work and effort to accumulate a group of customers. Now you're bringing those customers here on the nights of the live event. I think you're essentially, you're introducing those customers to 50 other guys that do the exact same thing as you do on any one of these nights. So, Breaker's got a better server. Yep. I mean, I think, for that reason, Breaker's got a better server. It's pretty decent now. They just did a big redesign. They listened to their customers. Yep, I agree. But the one thing that keeps skeeving me out about it is the fact of, like I was saying, we do all this effort to accumulate customers, and we bring them over here to Breakers in our live channel, and all they do is click a button and see 50 other guys doing the exact same thing we are, and potentially losing those customers. So I really believe there's some validity in that. And I think that's why you see guys like, Rich Layton and Mojo and the guys that are kind of the biggest names in this industry not breaking on breakers because they don't want to give you their customers. That's just what I think is going on there, but I don't know. Might be wrong. Do they check user account IP? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. So I guarantee the guys that are constantly at the front of the pack, as far as like the most popular channels on Breakers.tv, I bet you they're gaming the system. They probably have a bunch of like bot accounts in there, chatting it up and things like that, to get that extra edge and be pushed up to the front. If that's what you're kind of getting at with that, Dustin. Is that what you're driving at? And even if they did check IP addresses, there's ways around that too. I mean, you can use proxies, you can use a VPN. It is something we actually talked about a couple times, Dustin. I'm not going to lie. I think we just have too much moral fiber going on between myself and Jay to really even like fool around with that. All right, here we go. I know you can get around it. Yeah. All right, here we go. Off to the races. And there he is again. It's got to be the 5th or 6th one of these. Yep. He's draft day card. Is there an auto variation of that? Do you know of? Not that you know of? No, there's not? Okay. So here we go. We got a little numbered on paper out of 499 for the Yankees, 441 out of 499. And I don't know, maybe the guys that are at the top of the list all the time are not gaming them. They just have that many customers. But I mean, we've been around this game for a year and a half plus at this point. And I mean, the break market is kind of limited with how many guys are buying into this stuff on a daily basis or a weekly basis. It's all the same pie. Everybody's vying for the same breakers pretty much. eBay, I mean, we're all over eBay. We are all over eBay, and we're almost doing no sales on eBay these days because we have our stuff priced where it needs to be over there, and we're not playing this crazy pricing game like $4.99 and then either shilling up your own stuff or holding back those premium teams. I don't know. And the fees are ridiculous. Like our eBay fees, I don't even want to tell you what they are. Like if we have a good month on eBay of sales, it's completely gobbled up in terms of all those fees. The fees destroy us. And there we go. We got a green auto. Green auto for San Fran, Chris Shaw. Yes, sir. Finally got some with some color on the auto. Chris Shaw, San Francisco. And San Francisco, that's you, Dustin. That is you, Dustin. Let's see what our numbering is. 78 out of 99. 78 out of 99. Very nice. Actually lived in San Francisco for just about a year, back in 99-2000 era. Pretty cool city to live in. Ridiculously expensive to live in. Yep, I lived on Dolores Street in San Francisco, right in the city, which was the only street at the time anyway. I don't know if they've actually planted more now, but it was the only street in the entire city of San Francisco that had palm trees. Because San Francisco, although it is California, if you've never been there, you probably don't realize this, but I mean, it's very much not the California you think of because it's so damn cold there. I mean, by midday, after like noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon every day in San Francisco, you're dealing with okay temperatures. But those days start out cold, man. You're talking like 30-some, 40-degree days to start out with, and then the fog burns off, and you're dealing with like 60s or maybe 70-ish. Maybe. So palm trees aren't really all that prevalent out there. But they were on my street. I think we're in cahoots because you're getting all the good hits. Well, I mean, when you're in the case for... How many spots did you have in this one, Dustin? A lot. Let's see. I mean, you had 7 spots, and I think Donnie had 6. So effectively 7 and 6, right? So you guys are in the case for 7 and 6 together. So the numbers are really... Hey, that's the way to go. You guys do it the right way. I'm sure you're doing your research on the checklists and things like that before you jump into most of these teams. Do you guys really research those checklists hardcore before you start jumping into a whole bunch of spots? Or do you just go for, you know, who the hot prospects are potentially going to be? Exactly. So you do your research real hardcore on the checklist ahead of time. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, paper. Man, what do we got? I see nothing. I thought I saw something creeping out at us. Thought I saw something creeping, like a creepy creeper. Did I blaze through something? Here, is this what you're speaking of? If I can get a focus. Yes. Like I said, if you guys want to see anything as I'm cranking through, Must be nice, right? I mean, they put in the work. They've got the natural talent. Plus, they're putting in the hard work to get there, but good life. Good life. And there's something right there. Out of 99, Cody, is it Ponce? For the Brewers. 70 out of 99. Green. Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers, Hikazu N. Hikazu N. That's for you, my friend. Out of 99. All right, guys, coming up on the last box. What do we got? Give me a minute to get organized with my stacks and stacks I got off to the side here. Missed him in the middle of the season. Last box coming up in just a minute. I don't know if we actually had any movement on Crown or anything else, because I haven't really been able to check that. I'll actually check it right now real quick before we get into the last box. Let me see. Oh, we did have something. So Nancy S. came in and grabbed a couple Crown spots in number 1. Thank you, Nancy. And it looks like Nancy S. came back in and grabbed a couple more Crown spots. So 4 spots, Nancy. That's some good movement right there. And then Jimmy jumped in on that Supreme Football case that we were pushing. That's a really good value there, guys. That's a great product. That is an absolute great product. We might even be doing another one of those once we can liquidate that one, because it's such a good value on that one. We love that stuff. Keep bearing with me here, guys. I'm just organizing all my crazy stacks of stuff over here, so I'm not dealing with mountains of cards later. All right. Last box coming up. Let's see something big. I think this has been pretty good so far. Dustin, you're all about draft. What do you think of these, all 4 of our cases that we've done here, the 2 wax and the 2 jumbos? You think they've been pretty on par or above what you would normally see in this stuff? Pretty good? Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, I don't know what the heck I'm looking at half the time, so take my word for what it's worth, but what I'm seeing and the overall consensus of everybody chilling out with us during the breaks seems to indicate that they're pretty decent. I will definitely break one of the crowns or more than one of the crowns if we can get extra movement. Let me see where we are at on that first crown after we did have some pickups there. So the first crown royal case is actually down to 13, guys. So here it is. That's the link. So we are down to 13 in that crown case. Better than I thought it would be. Appreciate the pickups to everybody that has picked up spots in that as we're going along here for the night so far. It's already after 10. Oh, geez, I see something. I'm not... Oh, is it something big? Should I show it now? Should I show it behind this ash? Is it? I thought it was something big. My bad. It looked like a... It looked like it had some crazy reflection on it. If you see it from that angle, it looked like it had like some weird reflection on it. So I got excited for nothing. We'll keep it in the pile. That's the only downfall of doing it this method, is you potentially expose some of your hits before the dramatic effect can be had. Had it graded. I know you were having that discussion, I think it was last night, wasn't it, with that Oakland card? About, was it yourself, Dustin, or was it Jason that was talking about that? Jason B. About the one card, whether or not it was actually in the best interest to have it graded. Not you? Thought it was you guys, but yeah, it must have been Jason B. I think it was in the Triple Threads number 4. There's a couple Oakland hits in there, some Raiders hits, and then one was like a triple. And I think the card had a little bend to it, and they were telling the guy who owned it, like, probably don't get it graded. You're probably going to be hurting yourself by getting it graded. Actually take away value by getting it graded. Alright, here we go. Last box. Last stack of High Society. Last stack of High Society. Teddy KGB would be proud. He will eat those Oreos all night. Can't wait to see all the Facebook posts about the early Star Wars people, if they loved it or hated it. All my friends that went out on the crazy opening, well, it's not even really the opening day, it's the day before the opening day, right? But they're still somehow showing these early showings. My one buddy is the biggest Star Wars fanatic ever. He went to, I think there was a 7 p.m. show tonight. He was there front and center. Attorney has season tickets to the Cubs. Gotta have some coming up here, right? There we go, little 150, 24 out of 150, Dylan Moore for the Rangers. Another one of the Blues, I guess, right? Texas Rangers, Dylan Moore. Come on, cards. Oh my, look at that. That's a new one right there. No, it's not. I think that's the 7th one of those. Here he is again. Kid is all over this product. Every time he pops up, yeah. And what do we got? Little green paper numbering, right? Little green paper numbering to 99, 15 out of 99 for the Diamondbacks. Brecken Williams. D-backs. Who's the D-backs? That's Jess B. for the D-backs. And keep on chugging along. Dustin's throwing it out there in the chat, guys. Got the Schwarber for sale. Any interest, please feel free to private message each other. Little die cut for the Astros. Chugging along. And there it is. There's our auto. There is our auto for the Mets. There he is again, Desmond Lindsay. For the New York Mets. New York Mets is New York Mets. Oh, that's you, Dustin. That is you. Dustin, cleaning up. I think it might have been worth the wait for you. For the Mets. That was our auto. Let's see what else we might have in here hiding. Last little stack of cards. Anything hiding here? Anything hiding? I think that's all of it. Little color with no numbering, right? Correct. And then just regular paper base from that point on. I think we got some. Yep, that's going to do it for this one. This is our last case, guys. Bowman Draft, wax number 2 in the books. Thank you guys for filling it. We will probably not be listing any more of these, but we do have tons of baseball up on the site. If you guys are watching this all the way through on eBay, by all means, please do check out our baseball. If you click on the link below the video, it'll take you right to our website. You can check it out. Thank you very much.